I'm doing another fantasy archetype review thing after so long, and this time it's Pink Lightning. If you're wondering for the different location, I'm kind of pressed for areas because I've had to fucking redo this one 3 fucking times now, this being the 3rd attempt, because I made the same mistake I made the first time again, and I hate myself. But it's okay. 3rd time's a charm after all. So let's stop the wall gagging. This is Pink Lightning's deck profile from Era of Masters. Let's go. Welcome back to another deck profile. In this 3rd part of this triple whammy, we have Pink Lightning. Pink's deck of choice is Chronobeasts, a deck based around card negation, drawing cards, and synchro summoning. Fun fact about this deck, it was made to be sort of a counterpart to the decks of 2 specific Yu-Gi-Oh! Unleashed characters. Blur and David Talk. Now, why these characters? Well, of course, with Blur, Pink is meant to be his partner in crime in bounty hunting, and one of Blur's closer allies, despite her fangirl tendencies. The Amy Rose to his Sonic, if you will. But as for David, well, both he and Blur are my 2 favorite Unleashed characters, and so I wanted to make a deck that had a bit of both of their strategies, especially considering that Pinky has proven to be my personal favorite character in Era so far. Despite her only being like 2 or 3 episodes, but hey, if she made an impact that big in 2 and 3 episodes, that really proves her power. Spunk, I guess. So without further ado, let's dive into Chronobeasts. Monsters. Chronobeast Stallion. It is a level 4 Omega Psychic Effect Light monster. And I'm just going to not mention the fact that because all the fucking Chronobeasts are light type Omega Psychic, so I'm not going to mention that part. I might mention the levels if it's not level 4, so yeah. It's got 1700 attack and defense, because it's the same in the future and in the past. Anyway, if this card's effect is, if this card is summoned in any way, reveal your extra deck. Then if all cards revealed are synchro monsters, draw 1 card. If this card is in your GY, you can banish this card. Quick effect, the next time you would take battle damage this turn, that damage is reduced to 0. So it's a kind of handy effect. I mean, I don't know if I'd run 3 of this thing, but 1700 stats on level 4 is pretty good. And the cost of this is the fact that if you want to draw that extra card, you have to load your deck full of synchro monsters. So, like, you might not want that specific effect as much. And the whole reducing damage to 0 isn't that great. But hey, you know, it's alright. It's pretty good. And it's not a once per turn effect, so that's nice. So, yeah. I don't know if I'd run 3 of this thing, but maybe 1 or 2. It's alright. Chronobeasts TIMEFLOW Prince. This guy will be relevant later. It's got 2000 attack and defense. It's a beefy boy. Once per turn, you can draw 1 card and reveal it. Then, if it's a Chronobeast monster, special summon it. Then you can make this card a tuner. So that's a lot of effects in one, and that alone gives it the sass of being like, okay, you obviously run 3 of this thing, like how she is. Also, if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, it's banned instead of going to the GY. So it even has a bonus effect on top of like that, because it's got like good stats, ability to special summon, makes itself a tuner, stupid mutt. And it banishes stuff instead of sending them to the graveyard. So yeah, all around great card, obviously run 3 of it. The only I'd say this thing is effect that doesn't have a special summon condition. Oh no! The horror. But it lets you special summon, so who cares? Chronobeasts HOUND. This thing's a tuner as well. It's got 1400 attack and defense. Well, not as well, the previous one was. Well, it can make itself a tuner. Anyway, if you control a Chronobeast monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal summon, you can special summon 1 Chronobeast monster from your hand. You can only use each effective Chronobeast HOUND once per turn. So it's really fucking handy, obviously, you run 3 of this thing. If you have a Chronobeast on field, special summon this guy. If you normal summon this guy, special summon another Chronobeast from hand. And the fact that this is a tuner makes it basically an instant synchro summon. So yeah, this card's great. I don't need to explain why. Chronobeasts Cub. It's a level 2 of the usual stats with 500 attack and defense. If your opponent activates a spell or trap card or effect while you control a Chronobeast monster, you can special summon this card from your hand to negate and destroy that effect. So sort of like an Ash Blossom or a Ghost Ogre in a sense. Except this time it'd be like, oh, you activated a spell, trap, or the effective one. Here's this guy. No. So obviously, yeah, you read 3 of this fucker. Also, you can destroy this face-up card you control, draw 1 card. You can only use each effective Chronobeast Cub once per turn. Why is that to blow itself up specifically to draw the card? That's just kind of a weird thing, but okay, I guess. Gotta make it balanced somehow, so die? Just weird surprise, like, destroy itself rather than send to GY. But now I'm just nitpicking, like, minuscule details. And I'll have other details to minusculely get into later. Nitpick later. So yeah, this thing is obviously play 3 because just spell, trap, negation, summon a monster, and you can blow it up to draw a card if you don't need a level 2 monster in the field that's clouding it. So yeah, good card. Chronobeast Owl. 1600 attack and defense. When this card is normal summoned or flip face up, add 1 Chronobeast card from your deck to your hand. Very old school in that thing. The fact it has to be a when you normal summon or flip it face up, you search a Chronobeast card. But the fact that it has all those specific requirements that are very old school because you're searching any Chronobeast card in general. It could be spell, trap, or monster. So it's a bit of a balancing act. Like, you get the worser conditions, but you get the better effect off of it. Not like Yu-Gi-Oh! Nowadays, where it's just like, if this card exists, draw your entire deck. It's not that extreme yet, but it's getting there, and we all know it. If this card is used as synchro material for the synchro summon of a Chronobeast synchro monster, draw 1 card. Take a shower time you say synchro. You won't get drunk, but you will feel a little lightheaded. Yeah. It's a handy bonus effect. If it's used as synchro material, draw a card, always handy. So yeah, good card. Obviously, run 3. Chronobeasts Bat. Oh boy, this boy. Is a level 2 tuner monster with 500 attack and defense. If you control a Chronobeast monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. That is not a once per turn, so if you have 3 of this thing on the field and like a fucking, I don't know, one of the other Chronobeast monsters, the bear, let's say. Except for some, because you didn't have a Chronobeast in the field. Look, examples, okay? You just summon fucking 3 of this thing. Once per turn, you can banish 1 card from your hand, draw 1 card, reveal, and if it's a Chronobeast card, target 1 spell trap your opponent controls and destroy it. So at the cost of banishing a card from my hand, I draw a card, and if it's a Chronobeast, MST. Kind of risky, because if it's not a Chronobeast, well, actually, there's nothing that says if it's not a Chronobeast card, like discard or something, so the only bet, so regardless, you get to replace the card in your hand, and if it's a Chronobeast, it's a bonus effect, so neat. Once per turn, you can make this card count as a non-tuner. And that's why if you summon 3 of this thing is an instant level 6 synchro. Here's what you do. You summon the fucking bear. Let's just use this example again. Summon 3 bats. Have 2 of them count as non-tuners. And then you can go to a level 6, 8, 4, and, well, I don't think there's a Chronobeast level 4, but assume, they might get support in the future. So, yeah, this thing is fucking bonkers, and obviously run 3 of it, which is why she does. Although some of these variations, the ratios I think are just for balance, so it's not like an overpowered archetype that you can play all the best cards of. Remember, it's a character for a series, so that's good to keep in mind. It's like, why aren't you running 3 of this card? Because I want to be balanced. Anyway, we have Chronobeasts Tortoise, who's the usual stats, and is a tuner monster with 1700 attack and defense. You can decrease this card's level by 2. Special summon 1 Chronobeast monster from your hand, or GY. It's a very handy effect, and the cost is just like losing 2 stars. It's like, oh no, I can use it for synchro material. The horror. You're going to make back a tuner, obviously, with this, because I don't think there's an Xyz yet. You can make this card count as a non-tuner monster. Add 1 Chronobeast card from your graveyard to your hand. That is not a cost to activate the other one. It's just like 2 random tidbits like, did you know you could also do this? I read this and I'm just like, are this supposed to be connected? Like the cost of this thing counting as a non-tuner is to search for any Chronobeast card from your graveyard to your hand? Cause just like, it feels like randomly unrelated. I know, I don't know. It just feels kind of weird. Just like, and here's 2 bonus effects. What's the cost of them? What's the cost? This is Era of Dueling, my friend. There are no no. It's not that bad, but to be fair, Yu-Gi-Oh is very much like that. What's the cost of this? Basically nothing. You can only use each effect of Chronobeasts Tortoise once per turn. So yeah, you run 3 of this thing, obvious reasons, don't need to explain why, duh. Chronobeasts Fox is a level 6 monster. It's got 2600 attack and defense. Now this is going to be your freaking big boy of the archetypes. Either it's going to have a very good special summoning condition, or it's going to be fucking ass. It better be fucking making up for it if it's a level 6. Anyway, let's read the card. If you control a Chronobeast tuner monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. That, and then this thing. So it's got a very easy special summoning condition, which is handy, so it doesn't even have to be in attack or defense mode, so you don't even have to use it to synchro summon. If you just want to beat over a thing, you can do that. Most of the time you're going to synchro summon, but you could use it as a beat stick if you want to. If your opponent would activate a trap, card, or effect, quick effect, you can negate that effect. I mean, the cub can do that too, but I guess that's alright. This is just like a worse version of the frickin' bear, though. I mean, you're not using it for its on-field effect, because odds are if like you got a tuner monster on field and this thing on the field, you're going to synchro summon immediately. But it's just like, I don't know, for a main deck monster that needs a tribute, you expect a bit more, you know? I don't know, maybe that's just old school me thinking. Then again, old school me is also like, yeah, the best thing you had back then as a tribute was a fucking ancient gear golem that can't be special summoned and does piercing damage. Woo! Does not hold up nowadays, but back then it was pretty good. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, I'd only run one of this thing too. Like maybe max 2 if you really want to go into those high levels. TIMESTREAM SYNCHRON. This thing is a tuner with no attack or defense. If a synchro monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, then special summon that synchro monster. You can only use this effect of TIMESTREAM SYNCHRON once per turn. Okay, so if your synchro monster is destroyed, you can summon this thing and then summon that synchro monster back. But it doesn't have the fucking usual, like, Excel synchro summon with it. It'll be like, and then use this thing and that thing to synchro summon another monster. It just brings back the synchro monster that was destroyed, so assumingly on your turn, you can make a new one, which is handy. But what's funny to me is, like, why did it say you can only use this effect of TIMESTREAM Synchron? Just have another effect? Is this how Drew Synchron was able to destroy the Great Leviathan with TIMESTREAM Synchron's effect? Only 2 people will get that reference. Did I say quick synchron about drill synchron? Fuck, did I fuck up the meme? No! Spells. Chrono TIMESKIP. This card is always treated as a Chronobeast card. Just gonna say this now. All the spells and traps are always treated as a Chronobeast card. So I'm just not gonna count that line of text anymore. Just assume it's there. It's a normal spell card. Destroy 1 Chronobeast monster you control. Draw 2 cards. If it's a synchro monster, you can add 1 Chronobeast card from your GY to your hand, except Chronobeast TIMESKIP. If this card is in your GY, you can banish it from your GY, add 1 Chronobeast card from your deck to your hand. This is why you play Foolish Burial Goods, my friend. So here's what you do with this thing. You summon a fucking couple monsters, make a synchro, activate this, blow up that synchro you made, draw 2 cards, and return that fucking synchro monster you just made to the extra deck, or one of the materials you used to make it. Because you could just add the monster you used to make it right back to your hand. I don't know why you do that, but I guess you could like one of the cards you drew was Monster Reborn. You can bring that synchro back and then summon that tuner monster like the bat again, and then go into another synchro. It's a very beat around the bush way of doing it, but you could. And the fact you could add a Chronobeast card from your deck, and then in that same fucking turn, banish this fucker, and then add a fucking Chronobeast card from your deck to your hand. It's any card in general. Obviously, she runs 3. I would too. The only cause is you can't only activate each effect once per turn. Not you can only use the effects. Oi. Chaos Theory. Insert Jurassic Park meme here. Quick play spell. Target 1 Chronobeast monster you control. It cannot be targeted by other card effects this turn. Then special summon 1 Chronobeast monster from your deck or extra deck with the same name regardless of summoning conditions. They got us in that first half, not gonna lie. It started off as one of those whole like cards where it's like, okay, I guess that's mediocre, but alright. And then it went to fucking 100 real quick. It's the fact that it just special summons from the deck or extra deck ignoring summoning conditions, regardless of summoning conditions, that's just like, wait, what? If it was main deck, it would be like, okay, that's powerful, but I don't know if it's absurdly broken. But the fact that it's extra deck, that's like, huh? Oi. It's not even like your opponent. Like I don't know. That's your opponent activates fucking Raigeki Break and targets one of your Chronobeast cards. That's the only condition you can activate Chaos Theory. No, you could just be like, okay, it's my turn. I draw. I activate quick draw phase or standby phase. Activate Chaos Theory. My fucking guy on field can't be targeted. It for card effects, and I special summon another fucker. If she ran Xyz in this archetype and that fucking first card didn't lock her into Synchros, that's a fucking instant Xyz right there. Or then again, if there's a Chronobeast... No. If we ever get a fucking Chronobeast Synchro that can be treated as a non-tuner and isn't normally a tuner, then you could just go into a fucking high-level Synchro right there. And now I'm just giving Drake Scales ideas, and I'm just like, this is almost as dumb as giving Dookie ideas. Don't do it! Surprise, she only runs 2, but I guess it could be a brick sometimes, you know. Like I said, sometimes it's just for balancing the game. Make the series more interesting and she's not an I win button. Synchronized Chrono Tuning. It's a cool name. Continuous spell. Once per turn, you contribute 1 Chronobeast monster you control. Then special summon 1 Chronobeast Synchro monster from your extra deck whose level is 2 higher than the attributed monster. This is fucking mass change as a continuous spell. And you don't even have to attribute a Synchro monster. You could just fucking... You know, go into a freaking higher level one. It just... Gah! It's ridiculously powerful. I don't need to explain why. It doesn't ignore summoning conditions, though, so I guess that's a balance. God, imagine if it did on top of that. Accelerated Synchronization. Or is it Synchronize? No, whatever. Fuck it. Quick play spell. Target 1 Chronobeast monster, then special summon 1 Chronobeast monster from your extra deck. Whose level is 2 levels higher than the targeted monster. Its attack becomes 0 and its effects are negated. You only activate 1 Accelerated Synchronization per turn. This thing is just a worse version of the continuous spell. Like, no, why would you play this when you have the continuous spell? Fuck playing 1 copy of this. Maybe in the side deck, I guess, just to say you complete the archetype, but it's like, bruh. The only thing this has over the continuous spell is the fact that since it's a quick play, you could activate it during your opponent's turn, whereas a continuous spell is only during your turn. But still, like, after the last thing, it's like, this is a fucking downgrade, my dude. But I guess the balancing factor to it is the fact that, you know, it's a quick play, so if your opponent's trying to target your dude, you could just secret summon it. Plus, hey, it says it summons the it does summon the monster and make its attack 0 and negate the effects. But it doesn't say you have to summon it in attack mode. So you can just summon a high-level high defense monster to guard yourself. It's a good application for it. And then if it survives a turn, you can trade out with the fucking continuous spell or something. I don't know. Clockwise summoning. We don't have staircase summoning, but we have this. Target 1 Chronobeast monster you control. Then special summon up to 2 monsters with the same name from your deck. Bat. You cannot summon any monsters the turn you activate this card, except Chronobeast monsters. You can only activate 1 clockwise summoning per turn. Oh my god, I can summon the fucking level 6 dude 3 times. Yay! He'll be good for something. But no, because he's a... Oh, no, he could kind of... He just summoned as a beat stick. I summon 3 of them and beat the shit out of you if your field's wide open. Excuse me. But yeah, the downside of this is being like you're locked into Archetype, in which case this is a fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan series, so they're usually locked into their own Archetype anyway. What's the cost? Anyway, yeah. Obviously a very good card, because it just fucking ties to the Brethren without, like, the drawbacks at all. So yeah, I'm surprised it only runs 1, but, you know, balance. Synchro, it's real. I'm not going to stop with the real cards. Target a Synchro monster on the field, return that target to the extra deck, then if all monsters that were used for the Synchro summon of that monster in the GY, you can special summon all of them. Twin Twisters, discard 1 card, destroy up to 2 spell and traps cards on the field. Okay, target them on the field and destroy them. Synchro Blast Wave, if you control a Synchro monster, target 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy that card. Synchro Change. Remove from play 1 face-up Synchro monster you control. Special summon 1 Synchro monster from your extra deck whose level is the same as the removed monsters. Its effects is negated. Synchro Cracker. Target 1 Synchro monster you control, return to the extra deck, and if you do, destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to that Synchro monster's original attack. Traps. God, I forgot how annoying this team is. Counterclockwise Summoning. Yeah, like I said, they're all counted as a Chronobeast card, so I'm not kind of saying that again. If your opponent summons a monster while you control a Chronobeast monster, you can destroy that monster, then draw 1 card. How is this not a counter trap? Weird. So yeah, if your opponent summons a monster, no, thanks for the draw. Don't need to explain. Obviously, she runs 3. She would be stupid not to. We had clockwise summoning. Here's counterclockwise. Chrono counterflow. Oh, a normal trap. Chronobeast monsters you cannot be destroyed by this turn. Chronobeast monsters, you cannot be destroyed this turn. It's like God yelling down. I'm like, yay! Thank goodness I cannot be destroyed this turn. As long as I never end my turn IRL, I'll never die. Obviously, it's like Chronobeast monsters you control cannot be destroyed this turn. But it's funny but that one typo is just like, oof. I'm assuming he fixed it by now. When a monster your opponent when a monster your opponent controls battles a Chronobeast monster, you can add 1 Chronobeast card from your deck to your hand. That doesn't have a graveyard effect, so is that like a lingering effect? Like a The way is this supposed to be like, okay, I activate this card, then I'll have my Chronobeast monsters crash into your monsters because they're technically battling a monster the opponent controls. So yeah, I could just add a Chronobeast card for each, or is this supposed to be like a one-time thing? Not to mention the fact of just like the best sort of like example I could give that's similar is like you have Gladiator Beasts on field, you activate Wabaku, none of them can be destroyed by battle this turn. Ram into your opponent's shit, end of battle phase, fucking get them out for the new guys you actually want that'll help the situation and go into your plays. It's just kind of worded weirdly, you know? Like if I'm gonna draw for each other, it doesn't say like banish card from your graveyard to add the fucking Chronobeast card. It just says that. So yeah. Weirdly worded. Synchro Deflector. Activate when a face-up synchro monster you control is selected as an attack target. Negate the attack, then destroy your opponent's monster. I never noticed that XYZ Dragon King is in this art before, actually. Urgent tuning. During the battle phase, immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon 1 synchro monster using monsters you control. Mirror Force. You cannot activate this if you're Hungarian. I'm sorry, this isn't in the card text. SPACETIME Wormhole. When an opponent's monster declares an attack while you control a face-up Chronobeast monster, negate the attack, then end the battle phase, then draw 1 card. Oh, is that all it does? It doesn't make me a ham sandwich too? Why would you even run this then? No, but yeah. I'm surprised it only runs 1, because just like, if your opponent declares an attack, negate the attack, stop the battle phase completely, and draw. The only downside of this is if you activate the previous trap I paused for, where it's like, oh no, now I'm not going to be able to search for 1,000 fucking Chronobeast cards. Actually, maybe that's the application. Like, it's supposed to only be activated during the opponent's turn. Like, if your opponent's stupid enough to constantly ram into your indestructible monsters, then you're going to just keep getting searches off of it. But anyway, yeah, I'm surprised this isn't a counter trap, but it's like, whatever. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really need to be on this one. It's more of a application. Like, Mirror Force isn't a counter trap, neither is Magic Cylinder. This one's more fun to not be a counter trap. So yeah, good card. Time Paradox. Continuous trap. If you don't control a Chronobeast monster, destroy this card. That's not a surprising amount of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like, not as many as I'm implying there is, but it's on a surprising amount of, like, you know, it's more than you'd think. It's like, if X isn't here, Y happens. Which means it's probably going to be a pretty powerful effect. If your opponent summons a monster with the same name as a monster they are control, destroy it, then draw 1 card. Harpy players and Cyber Dragon players are like, you know? It's like, that's their entire gimmick. You just negated their entire gimmick, you bastard. This would be a real pain in the butt phase. Like, no wonder it's like the cost is having a Chronobeast that's on the field. It's like, against those certain decks, they're fucked. And for his be like, what do you mean they can't summon Art Speed 87 times? Oy. The whole you have to control a Chronobeast card is balanced enough for it, in my opinion, though. Because it's not going to be great in every situation. Paradigm Reversal, or as I like to call it, Edit Undo. Activate only during the end phase. If you lost any life points this turn, gain life points equal to the amount you lost. If any Chronobeast monsters you control were destroyed and sent to the GY this turn, special summon those Chronobeast monsters. So if your opponent did not kill you this turn, they're dead. This thing is insanely powerful. Like, just be like, basically be like, you know how you wiped up my field? Neither do I. It didn't happen. Forget it. But it's not overpowered because you can only activate this card during the end phase. So if your opponent is able to get your life points down to 0 afterwards, like, I don't know, Cowboy or something, if anyone even knows how to use that anymore, it does have a weakness. It's not perfect. Plus, it only works against monsters that were sent to the graveyard this turn. So if your opponent used the fucking TIMEFLOW Prince guy and banished them instead, it's a bit... This card can't stop that. It can give you the life points back, but it won't stop it. So yeah. Good card. Good card, but not the most overpowered card ever made. Extra deck. Time for the Synchros, buddies. Chronobeasts Tiger is a level 6 Omega Psychic Synchro effect monster that's Lie Attribute. I'm just going to say that now because all of them are fucking Omega Psychic Synchros. So just might as well get that out of the way. They're not a level 6, so I'll change it for that. It's got 2,500 attack and defense. Its requirements are 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner Omega Psychic type monsters. Spoiler warning, so far in Era and I believe Unleashed, there are no other Omega Psychic type monsters. So this thing is basically Archetype locked. At least for now. I mean, there'll probably be more Omega Psychics in the future, but for right now, this thing is essentially Archetype locked. But to lock it into its own type, I guess, it must be pretty dang good. Once per turn, if your opponent activates a spell or trap, a card, or effect, you can discard one card from your hand to negate that effect, and destroy that card. Soak in the cub, and it can give me a free monster out of it. During the battle phase, your opponent's monster effects are negated. Okay, that's a little better. I mean, I like how some of these cards are just like, worse cub, but then again, you could probably make the cub in this thing with another synchro, so it's just like, and it's stronger than the cub, so yeah. So it's a pretty solid level 6 synchro, I'll say that. Chronobeasts Chimera is also level 6. I love that art, but then again, I'm a sucker for like Chimera style artwork with like 2 heads and stuff. I'm not the biggest Cerberus fan, but I do like freaking fucked up art like this where it's like 2 heads that don't belong. Anyway, going on. Anyway, it's got 2,000 attack and defense. Its requirements are 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner Omega Psychic type monsters. If a Chronobeast monster you control attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent, which is handy because it works in for all Chronobeast monsters, not just itself, which I appreciate. Very Metaphos or a Calic. Or a Calc. The fucking 2800 big guy. Anyway, once per turn, quick effect, you can banish 1 Chronobeast monster from your graveyard, and until the end of your opponent's next turn, your opponent cannot activate effects or of cards in the graveyard. Also, they cannot special summon monsters from the graveyard. Oof. So the cost of banishing a Chronobeast monster on a quick effect, you can turn this thing into Necro Valley. And anyone who knows Necro Valley knows that it's annoying as fuck. So it's like, imagine if it could punch you in the face. And it's not the Gravekeeper's doing it for you. Ugh. Yeah, very good card. Chronobeasts Pegasus. It's a level 8 synchro. 2,500 attack, 1,200 defense. This is the first one of the Chronobeast cards to not have the stats that are exactly the same. I wonder if that was a typo or intentional. Because all the other ones are just like, we have matching stats in the attack and defense. Except this guy. He's weird like that. That's not a good omen. Its requirements are 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner Omega Psychic type monsters. Its effect is monsters with less attack than this card cannot attack. I mean, I wasn't going to summon a monster with less than its attack in order to attack with it, but I guess if I have smaller monsters in the field that I don't want being hit in the face, that's handy. It's a bit of a floodgate, but it's also a very specific one. Anyway, if this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card and sent to the GY, target 1 tuner and non-tuner monster in your GY with the same type and attribute as each other. Add them to your hand. I mean, all the freaking Chronobeast cards are freaking light Omega Psychics, but it is cool how it doesn't specify that it has to be specifically Chronobeast cards. So if you're like, let's say if these existed IRL and you just had an Omega Psychic type monsters, you could go into this thing, and if it died, you could just add any 2 non-tuner, tuner and non-tuner from your graveyard to your... Well, not any 2, because they have to be the same type and attribute, but it doesn't specify it has to be Omega Psychic Chronobeasts. I don't know if I'd run 2 of this thing. I'd probably just put in a Stardust Dragon, but it's like, it's alright. After all the fucking broken cards, you gotta have a couple duds in there, right? The most interesting about this is the fact that the stats don't match. Chronobeasts Dragon. Another level 8 Omega Psychic Synchro. I told you that I wasn't going to read it, and then I read it. Damn you, Force of Habit! 3,000 attack and defense. Its requirements are 1 Chronobeast monster plus 1 or more non-tuner Chronobeast monster. So this thing is hard Archetype block. Not even like the Omega Psychic type, just Chronobeast in general. Must first be Synchro summoned. I'm sorry, I said regardless of summoning conditions, so I'm gonna get you out the urgent tuning thing. When this card is Synchro summoned, draw cards until you have the same amount of cards in your hand than your opponent's. Joke's on you. I have no cards in my hand because I'm playing Infinities. Anyway, when you can only activate this effect of Chronobeast Dragon once per turn. I would fucking hope so. While you and your opponent have the same number of cards in hand, negate all cards and effects activated by your opponent, and if you do, destroy those cards. Nightmare Unicorn of you. No, not Nightmare Unicorn. I meant Fabled Unicorn. Yeah, that one. So yeah, no one of this thing is Archetype block. It lets you draw cards, and it also negates cards. So yeah, I don't fucking Archetype block this too, and that's how you balance it out. This thing is much better than the fucking Pegasus. Not to dunk too hard on that thing, but it's like, this thing is the one you go for. It's even got better stats. The only downside, it's locked to Chronobeast, so it's like, meh. That's like, you know, manageable. Chronobeast TIMESTREAM Emperor. Now, this is not the boss monster of the archetype, but I like to think of it as the mascot of the archetype. Sort of like how, you know, Red Eyes Black Dragon is not the mascot of Red Eyes, but he, for all effective purposes, he is the boss monster. Just like, you know, he's not the boss monster. He's not better than Dragoon or fucking, I don't know, Archfiend Black Skull Dragon, but for all purposes, we call it the Red Eyes archetype for a reason. Anyway, it's got 3,000 attack and defense. It's equal to the dragon. It's also a level 8 synchro. Yeah, its summoning requirements are 1 Omega Psychic type tuner monster plus Chronobeast TIMEFLOW Prince. Remember that thing with 2,000 attack and defense? That's the second monster in this video? No? Go back and check, because it takes this dude. Must first be synchro summoned. The first time your opponent activates a card or effect during a turn, or negate it and destroy that card during a turn. Not so it's either player's turn. So essentially. Then search your opponent's hand, deck, extra deck, field, graveyard, and pockets, not that last one, but for every other card with the same name and banish them. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, it's banished instead of going to the graveyard. Then search your opponent's hand, deck, extra deck, field, and graveyard for every other card with the same name and banish them. This dude is literally like, you see this guy? Fuck this guy. In fact, fuck all of his brothers and friends, too. It's ridiculous. It just like, it does have the requirement that it has to be the first time so your opponent can bait it, but it's just, I find it hysterical that it's just like, okay motherfucker, no, and no to all of your friends that look exactly like you suspiciously. It's just ridiculous, and it gets more ridiculous. Spoil warning. Surprised it only runs one, but I guess you gotta get the 15 cards and all that, plus balance and all that jazz. Chronobeast Deus Ex Machina is a level 12 Eva Synchro with 4,000 attack and defense. Its requirements are 1 Omega Psychic type tuner monster plus 1 Chronobeast TIMESTREAM Emperor. So the previous guy is material for this motherfucker. Okay. Must first be synchro summoned. This card is the only monster that is allowed to attack during your battle phase. Kind of malefic-y of you. As long as this card is face up on the field, the effects of all cards your opponent controls are negated unless they were the effects of set cards, so it has a weakness. It can be Mirror Force, technically. If this card is destroyed by battle, specifically, special summon 1 Chronobeast TIMESTREAM Emperor from your GY. Oh, it's sort of like an Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem, bringing back Ancient Gear Golem. It's nice. So it's just like, if I manage to somehow die by battle, and something beats over me, despite all of my negation, and here's an old guy back, which is kind of like, the only thing that's the way this thing can die is fucking effect negate, is that it implies its only weakness is a Mirror Force, but the way it brings back is by battle. But I guess that's the balancing act. You know, you can't just be like, congratulations, you beat Deus Ex Machina. Here's his younger brother. Here's his material back. Anyway, yeah. Moving on. Summon TIMESTREAM Emperor from your GY. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, it's banished face down instead of going to the graveyard. Then search your opponent's hand, deck, extra deck, field, and graveyard for every other card with that card's same name and banish them face down. You see this guy? Fuck this guy! It's just ridiculous. And all of his friends, too. I just love that sort of like level of just being like, are you fucking kidding me? You're on an Ash? No. In fact, fuck all their ashes. Which is fine with me, because I hate that card. But yeah, just insane. This thing's the only thing that's allowed. This thing is worthy of being the boss monster, but it's also got a lot of restrictions on it. Like, it's the only thing that's allowed to attack, and that makes it balanced enough. But it's just barely, you know? It's a Deus Ex Machina for a good reason. Thought Ruler Archfiend, if it destroys a monster by battle, you gain attack life points equal to the monster's original attack, plus you pay 1,000 life points to negate a spell or trap that targets a psychic monster. And no other cards. Cyframe Lord Omega, this thing will be banned one day. I think it's already been limited though, I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't remember every fucking card in existence, it's over 10,000. Thanks for watching this triple whammy, everyone. Trust me when I say Era of Dueling Episode 5 will be well worth the wait. Well, it was, I can give you that spoiler warning now. It was well worth the wait. And I greatly enjoy checking out this Archetype 3 fucking times. I will say this about Pink Lightning's deck. The more I see it, the more balanced it looks. So I'm like, the first time I read it, I'm just like, this thing is insanely broken and should be banned right now. No, it would never come to the real world. But now as I read it more, it's like, actually this Archetype is pretty balanced overall. I mean, there are some cards that you're just like, whoa, wait a minute. But then there are some where it's like, I guess. Which is sort of the case with a lot of cards. I mean, it's not the most broken custom cards in the world. Nowhere near as busted as the Angry Birds. So, yeah. A scale of 1 to Angry Birds, no. It's a very good Archetype, I'd say. And it's, you know, it's good. I don't think it's too broken. It can't have moments where it feels fucking oppressive. But it's not broken on its own. It's like real Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a lot of fucking broken ass shit in there. But not everything is broken, you know? Avermax is fucking a ridiculously strong monster, but Mech Knight Averm is trash. Check this out. To this day, we don't know what this is. Anyway, yeah. Good Archetype. Glad I checked it out. Later.